Breaking down the Canes, we got Miami Flow on the line, talking Miami football, of course, in the midst of recruiting season, but we are just about 3 weeks or so away from ACC kickoff, and then that flows right into August camp, of course. So let's look at Cam Ward. Let's start with Cam Ward, because if you go from quarterback to quarterback to quarterback, at least we'll take it back to Brad Kaya. He's the last guy that I felt consistently throughout his career was never a high-level NFL prospect. I think he left too early. That might have helped him to play one more season, of course. But since then, really substandard play at the quarterback position. Aside, De'Ara King was never going to be an NFL quarterback. But as a college quarterback, really good quarterback, brought something to the table, really good leader, all those things, dynamic playmaker. Unfortunately, it was really just the 1 year for him. TBD, had the big flash for 8 or 9 games, and then was never the same for a number of reasons. I think partially because he got exposed, partially because he didn't get coached well. So there are some things there. This is the first time in a long time there's a proven high-level college quarterback on campus and as the starter.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you have to put a lot of context when it comes to Cam Ward, because he came with all the, bells and whistles, right? Oh my God, look, started at camp, like, in a small college, worked his way up. Look at the flashes of what he did. He didn't have a lot of help at Washington State, but he's like that pretty toy. He's kind of a dual threat, but he doesn't want to run. What shocked me the most with him, and I have to be honest, I was a little bit in a wait and see approach with him. To be honest, just because from the outside, if you're not in that program, you only can do what if you make a few calls maybe, and then what you see on TV. That's pretty much all you get. I had a wait and see approach because I wasn't a fan on how the recruitment went in the transfer portal with him. I'll be totally transparent. I didn't like the I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out. I want to go to the NFL. I don't know. I didn't like that. I thought our coach is building a good culture, and I thought that was going against us a little bit, against the grain of what we were trying to build. And I'm old school, so I don't like all that. Like, if you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not. Like, do one or the other. But getting a chance to see him in spring practice, and just hearing what his peers are saying about him, and the way he is, just kind of like all the way in, not just I got this NIL and I just can't get hurt. I had this perception just because the way the recruitment went, and I was wrong. I was wrong. The guy is definitely committed. He's all in. He's doing all the right things, the extra work, the teammates, the way they talk about him. But the guy can throw it. I mean, I've seen all the quarterbacks come through here for the last, I don't know what, I'm 50 now, and I've been going to practice for like 26, 27 years. So I don't know how many. He can throw it. He's got arm talent. He's got it. Now he's got to put it together on the field. We're very excited, clearly, because it seems like our schedule sets up good. We have a pretty solid roster this season. Like, if it's gonna happen for us, honestly, not like every year the empty hype, right? Again, you've been around a while. I've been around a while. We know the difference between, I don't know if it's really like this, but I'm gonna get excited anyways. Or like, this is different. It's getting built inside out, which is something we haven't done in years. And then all of a sudden you bring in Cam Ward, kind of like, here's a little cherry on top, I'm still want to see it. I'm on that fence. I got to see it. I've been scarred too many times, but Cam Ward looks like he's the guy. And, the thing with him is, again, I'm shocked and I'm wrong on this, but his character seems amazing. And his culture seems, he's like a fit when I didn't think it would be. And it's a fit. And I never doubted his talent, but we're blessed that we ended up getting him, and that there's excitement because you get him, you get more guys in the portal want to come because who's there, right? It's just a domino effect. But until we do it on the field, this is amazing. Some of us are excited cautiously, but yeah, you're talking about, in my opinion, one of the top 5 to 7 quarterbacks in the country, prospects wise.
Yeah, outside of the 2017 season, when has Miami turned in a record that looks like a Miami record of of old. And of course, that season ended with 3 losses, so it didn't turn out to be an extraordinary season. But for 10 weeks, it was a run at a possible national championship at that point. And other than that, like you say, to match up this team, this roster against the schedule, it's hard to find losses. Like there is not a guaranteed loss. And then if you match up like tiered teams, you're staring at Florida State. There is no Clemson on the schedule. There's not even North Carolina State on the schedule.
Yep.
It's tough to find losses. Of course, Florida is not going to be an easy out for as many jokes as they're taking about what is generally a dead man walking on the sideline to a certain extent.
Yep.
They're capable. I think that's going to be a heck of a game.
Agreed.
Especially when they're fresh. It's not like it's down the road and they're going to be 3-5 and playing out the string. This is their chance to show up and get the job done early. So yeah, like you say, the schedule just shows a 10-2.
Pretty easy. Minimum. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'd like to comment on the Florida game because if you're a Miami Hurricane fan, it's hard to take your emotion out when you play a Florida State or the Gators because there's a lot of, they don't like you. So you're just like, so it's easy to get a little bit clouded. The advantage that we will have against everyone on our schedule, in my opinion, except Florida, is that we will show up on the field. We look different off the bus for the first time in a long time, right? So we can show up, look how big they are, look how fast they are. Florida plays our roster or better every year in the SEC. You understand? They see those type of edge rushers. They see that size offensive line. They see those wide receivers. They see those running backs. So you're going to have to play against Florida. That whole like, oh man, look, they're much bigger, they're much faster, they're back. I don't think that's going to do anything to Florida because of who they see, who they play. Plus, they have I think Graham Mertz gets crushed on. I don't think it's fair. Second time in that system, and they might not be really good at recruiting there, but I think there's good coaches on that staff at the end of the day. And I feel like in the swamp, that's going to be I tell everybody and they laugh at it. I think that's our hardest game of the year, personally. On paper, of course. I think that's our hardest bit. But I agree with you. 2017, and it's because, Mark, it's honestly because we've been building it with hype. That was the mistake. There was no development. Everything's hype, turnover chains. And we were never like that. In the day, people used to make fun of us because, oh, look at them. They're so flamboyant. Yeah, but the difference was we were doing it in the lines, Now they try to skip that phase and they try to get all the excitement and all this. So Mario's not about that. Mario's a non it doesn't work here like that. We'll see if it translates. I'm again cautiously excited. I do think you're right. I don't see a world if the health is relatively healthy in college football for our team. I just something's got to go really wrong for us to not to have a successful season.